Dan Gus. My wife Amanda's back here with me. We live in Red Oak. I'm going to be a candidate for the 40th Judicial District Court here in Ellis County. All right. My name is Dan Gus, candidate for the 40th Judicial District Court in Ellis County. I've been a Republican since 1984 when I watched Ronald Reagan talk about a young boy cleaning out a barn filled with horse manure. I don't know if you remember this from the debates, but the kid was just throwing out the horse manure with all sorts of excitement. And Ronald Reagan tells the story this way: "Boy, why are you so excited? I know that if I keep digging, I'll find a horse in here someday." That attracted me to Ronald Reagan. I was just 14 years old, and I've been a Republican ever since. In running for judge, it's difficult to really talk about a vision for what you would do as a judge, because the code of judicial conduct kind of constrains what you can say. And so I'm not going to get into specifics right here and right now. I'd like to more talk about the vision of what I think a judge should be. And to do that, I'd like to tell a story about an airplane crash in 2004, October 19th, in the state of Missouri. I don't know if you heard about it. It was a small commercial airliner with 15 people on board. And it crashed through some trees, and everyone but 2 people on board died. And one of the people that survived was a man by the name of James Crow. He was 68 years old, and on the impact in the crash, he broke his left hip. And when he came to, there was one of the fellow passengers dead in his lap. He was a physician, as was most of the people on the flight. And he checked to see if she was alive, and she was not. He tried to stand up, and he couldn't because of his broken hip, but he managed to push himself to a hole in the wall of the plane, where he fell then 15 feet through some flames onto the ground, and managed to crawl away into a thicket of rose bushes while the plane dropped burning plastic on him. As he laid there, he could hear the screams of the people that were on the plane. He couldn't get off. And one of those people on that plane was one of his friends and colleagues, a man by the name of Clark Ator, a physician who had 7 children. He died in that plane crash. The reason I tell you that story is 2 years later, I was sitting in a Dallas County courtroom on a case I had for TXU. And the judge was one of the good Republican judges up in Dallas County who since got voted out in 2006. Robert Frost was his name. And he had Clark Ator's wife, the widow, there in the courtroom trying to prove up a settlement agreement with the airlines. They paid millions of dollars. And I want to tell you about Judge Frost, because he congratulated the plaintiff's attorneys and the defense attorneys for their professionalism in taking care of this woman, making sure that she and her children would be provided for after their provider was lost. And something happened in that hearing that I've never seen in a courtroom before. Judge Frost, still affects me to this day, bowed his head and he wept right on the bench. And he had to excuse himself. That's the kind of people you want to be a judge. Somebody who doesn't get lost in the fact that the law expresses our deepest values, and that we should honor and respect those values and give respect to them by not making law, but applying the law that expresses our values. That's the kind of judge I'll be. I'll look forward to getting